So I want to talk about the stabbing motion with the knife. And one of the common things that you see from like defense perspective, especially when you're caught off guard, and we've got a couple clips of this, right? Guys suddenly just pull the knife and just start stabbing, you don't see it till the last minute, is they end up kind of just reaching for it and they get their hands on there. And we call this like the baseball bat grip. So I want to talk about one, how do we end up in this position? But then two, once we get here, what do we do? So first things first, when you get caught off guard, and if you get caught off guard, it's because you're not paying attention to the body language. If this is one where we're in like a clinch type situation, that's one thing where all of a sudden the knife gets drawn. But again, that's still also my lack of ability to notice drastic arm movements, drastic body shifts, stuff like that. But if we're in an argument or we're heated and I see the cues, you know, maybe they're glancing a little bit, maybe they're shifting their weight a little bit, and then I see like the high pitched elbow, there's a good chance that a weapon's coming. And if I miss all those cues, it just means that I'm gonna have less time to react. Even if I do see the cues, it's not a guarantee that I'm not gonna get cut or stabbed, but it gives me the opportunity to start reacting faster compared to now being caught off guard where I might have to kind of like just check it and then I still have to re-enter. So when we're talking about entering in on, let's switch to trade position, right? When we talk about entering in on the stab, the first thing that we're looking to do if we're caught off guard 100% is essentially just kind of like checking. It doesn't matter how we do it, right? I'm just essentially kind of checking the arm, parrying the arm, so that now as we kind of back off, I'm now gonna wait for it to come in a second time. At that point, I'm gonna look to check it again. However, this time it's gonna go from like a check to a 2-on-1 type position, and I'm just going to use that as my opportunity to enter. Now, yes, there's always going to be that chance that I'm going to get nicked, that I'm going to get cut, but I would rather get hands on than sitting here trying to like catch the hand. So it's better to almost just check it and then check again, and I'm just looking to get heavy right away. Now, if you end up like this where like your hands are split, then I'm just gonna slide them both down and now we're in this baseball grip. If I manage to get both on the baseball grip, even better. But a lot of times people are gonna kind of grab differently. Just slide them down, but the key that I want you to focus on is that as we slide the hand down, I'm also getting heavy on that wrist. And I'm making it real difficult for him to be able to pull that arm back. Now, before you all say it, I'm not technically super worried about him throwing punches or anything at this point, because right now we're fighting over this blade, and honestly, you tend to forget that you have the capabilities to hit somebody when you are fighting over weapons. So when we get to this 2-on-1 grip, I want to also now drive my head in. If his head was facing the other way, right, it's going to be the same thing. I'm just driving that head in and I'm getting nice and heavy. But again, this is where people tend to panic, because now if I don't know what to do, he's going to start getting that other hand involved, he's going to start pushing, and then once that clears, now we're back into that tough situation, and he's going to be a lot more cautious on me trying to get that. He might start kind of like posting and using this to kind of keep me at bay a little bit. So if I manage to get this on right away, I have to do something immediately. The first thing that we can do is just like the knuckle touch, right? I want to get his knuckles down to the ground. How do I do that? I stay nice and heavy, I keep that head pressure, my hips are back. I'm going to literally just start walking away from him at an angle, and as I do that, I'm literally just trying to, if we're going nice and slow, just touch his knuckles to the ground. Because if I can get his hands down here, then I can start breaking the rest of his posture. But I can't just sit here and pull this down. Again, he's going to be pulling up the whole time, so I have to walk away, start kind of changing the angles, and I'm just looking to get his knuckles touching the ground. Once this happens, it's go time. Now at this point, I'm going to start pressuring in a little bit. I can start kind of walking around from here if I need to. If I needed to break the arm, I can easily break the arm at this point. I can go for the shin pins. I can beat the crap out of him. If you're trained with Ryan Hoover, I can smash your head into the ground a little bit. You have options. You also have the ability to start transitioning this into Russian tie, which is perfect because we've just gone over a bunch of videos lately on different ways to utilize the Russian tie and stuff. I'll post those up above. But when we're here, if I want to transition to the Russian tie, there's two options that I've kind of practiced with. One is just getting my shoulder behind the arm right away. So let's straight again. As we're doing this one, again, I'm putting heavy pressure on here. Maybe I'm having a difficult time to come down and bring his hands down to the ground. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting this angle, and I'm going to take my shoulder and start driving my shoulder behind his tricep. Now, the reason I want to do it this manner is because I want these hands involved. I want this head pressure involved. And I'm just going to start now using my whole body. And as I do this, now I'm driving him away from me. Now, again, from this position, I can easily break the arm. But if we're trying to transition to the Russian tie, I'm going to keep this nice and tight. And now I'm just going to release this front hand and grab up here. Because now I'm using my whole body as another point of contact. So I have the ability to freely utilize or release one arm to where now I can trap it. Now, if I want to transition back, I'm back up into a Russian tie type position or a 2-on-1 position to where now I can start working different types of takedowns. I can work inside sweeps. We've gone over again, if he starts pulling this arm back, then I can stuff it and I can transition to any sort of these like key lock wrist sweep type takedowns from there. But now I'm in a good tight Russian tie position. You also have another little variation that you can do where if this arm is tucked nice and tight here, I can actually take my elbow and trap it. Now, look at how the blade's positioned. I do understand that he may sit there and start trying to like cut it's gonna be very difficult for him to do a ton of damage at that point, especially if I'm keeping this tight and I'm wrapping this nice and tight. Like, this arm is stuck. The wrist is stuck. I've got everything fully gripped on. Nothing is happening. He's not gonna be able to pull the arm free, right? He's not getting this arm back easily unless he starts really getting that other hand involved. Now, if I feel like I'm gonna lose this at that point, well, then I might just transition and start working strikes. Otherwise, if we're here and I feel like I can't work anything, then that's where I have to start kind of taking them down again and we start breaking things. So we have to understand when we get these 2-on-1 grips, especially like this baseball grip, because again, this is like a very common, you watch any knife video, people just tend to like, oh shit, and they just reach. And if they manage to get onto it, now it's just like, what do I do? And then they get involved and we lose that position. So I have to immediately go to work. So again, if I get on, I'm getting heavy, driving my head pressure in, knuckles to the ground. From here, I can transition whatever I want to. I can pressure behind, break them all the way down. We do the damage that we need to do. Other option is I start working the arm away. So I start feeding the wrist away from me, driving my shoulder behind his arm and putting a lot of pressure. Again, I can break this if I need to, or I can transition this right away to a 2-on-1 form of grip. Now, you also have the ability to hit kind of like an arm drag if you want, if you're looking to kind of get behind the person. So if I get here, I do have the option again. Not necessarily something that I would always want to do. This could work, however, if they start trying to like maybe swap hands, right? Yeah, go ahead, swap hands. So if I'm not able to catch this motion here, then what I might do at this point, if they do happen to trade hands, is now switch to an arm drag position and pull this through and look to now trap the far side. And now I'm gonna lock up in here, and now I'm gonna work all the way around to the other side of the body and lock things up. So you do have that ability to hit that arm drag to start working around to the other side if that comes through. So you do have options, but the key and the main point is to understand that once we do get that 2-on-1 grip motion, I have to get heavy on it. It's not the time for me to like sit here and just start kind of like throwing punches. I'm here, I'm locked on, my hands are in position. I have to immediately now start breaking their posture, putting pressure on them so that they can't utilize the weapon, and then I have the option to do the damage from there. So give those a shot. If you are looking to train in any form of like weapon type scenarios, hit up Clanton Combatives. He made these custom nice knives for us with our nice green color. He can make knives, screwdrivers, flashlights, firearms, whatever you're looking for. They do a nice job. I'll post their link down below, but give them a shot or check them out. But yeah, we'll see you next time.